Hey everybody, hope you guys doing all right. So, as I talked about in a few videos ago, this bed cover here that I've been using is from Pakistan, and that's 7,135 miles from Portland, Oregon. And so, does anyone else think it is extremely wasteful for people in Portland, Oregon to have purchased a simple bed cover made over 7,000 miles away and then shipped here and sold for profit? In doing so, how much pollution, exploitation, and perpetuation of a profit-driven, destructive capitalistic system comes from the purchase and transportation/distribution of such items? I keep using those words because it's just repetition works, and I don't think people really realize that this is the system that we have been living under for our whole lives, if you're here in America. That's my opinion. Well, it's not even really opinion actually, but anyway. What type of policies can we develop to ensure that these types of destructive ways of making money do not continue? In my opinion, we need international regulations that are designed to halt and reevaluate the whole way the world does business. Now, in regards to halting things, now there's certain goods and things that need to get shipped because people will get very sick and die if they don't get those. So those type of things need to be shipped no matter what. But everything else that is not absolute essential, in my opinion, we should halt. I mean, other living beings and creatures and animal life and earth life are dying because of our consumerism, is what it is. So some information about the shipping containers industry and shipping containers themselves and how they travel across water. So fuel consumption by container ship is mostly a function of ship size and cruising speed, which follows an exponential function above 14 knots. For instance, while a container ship around 8,000 TEU, which stands for 20-foot containers, so they have 8,000 20-foot containers, would consume about 225 tons of bunker fuel every day at 24 knots. At 21 knots, this function drops to 150 tons per day at a 33% decline. That's quite a decline just for a reduction of 3 knots. Main ship speed classes are normal, 20 to 25 knots. Slow steaming, 18 to 20 knots, could be the new norm. Extra slow steaming is 15 to 18 knots, and minimal cost is 12 to 15 knots. So, while shipping lanes would prefer to consume the least amount of fuel by adopting lower speeds, this advantage must be mitigated with longer shipping times as well as assigning on a pendulum service to maintain the same port call frequency. It usually takes 10 to 20 days to cross the Atlantic. So I chose to use the number 13 as an average for the amount of days it takes to cross the Atlantic. I still also need to factor in the cost and consequences of land transportation, but assuming we are using 150 tons a day, then a 13-day voyage will require 1,950 tons of fuel for a one-way voyage across the Atlantic. A ton is 2,000 pounds. So all in all, 1,950 tons equates to 3,900,000 pounds of fuel, and each gallon of fuel weighs 8.34 pounds. And so 3,900,000 divided by 8.34 is 467,625 and 899. And this gives us the amount of gallons needed to make the one-way voyage across the Atlantic with a shipping container vessel with around 8,000 TEU. So 467,625.899 gallons of gas times 3.898, which is the worldwide average for a gallon of gas, equals a cost of over 1.8 million US dollars for a one-way voyage. Again, this data is based on a shipping container with around 8,000 TEU and traveling at 21 knots and for a duration of 13 days. And again, the above numbers and data do not include the land transportation, all the man and machine power it takes to get the ship, vehicles, and containers/products to their final destinations. When we keep buying things from corporations and nations that are associated with such dealings, we are supporting and perpetuating their existence and growth. Pakistan has factories where workers are underpaid and often working in illegal work conditions under immoral practices. This is rather inhumane to me, and it's sad to know that these types of operations are only running so well and for so long because of nations like us here in America who buy, and most of the time, if not all the time, we don't care to look into where or how these products we continue to buy came from and how they were produced. Where they come from and how they were produced. A lot of these workers don't even make a minimum living wage, and often they have to endure more immoral, underpaid, often illegal, and inhumane work conditions to make ends meet and keep a roof over their head and their families' heads and food/water in their bellies. Our consumerism is allowing these conditions to exist and grow as we choose to buy more and more. This is why the way we live and consume here in America oftentimes leads to a negative effect elsewhere in the world. These are some of the consequences of free market capitalism and profiteering. Hemp and the Word of God can help solve problems here in America and in countries afar like Pakistan. Parts of Pakistan are dependent on these corporations in order to live and provide for themselves and their loved ones. They need an alternative infrastructure like we do and the rest of the world does too. So once we get going here in the States or wherever it starts, we could then go over and help them if they want the help. However, we shouldn't and don't really, because we can really make all these things that we're purchasing elsewhere right here in America on our ground with hemp and other things. We really don't need to keep supporting these immoral, underpaid, often illegal and inhumane businesses and nations that allow this. The hemp plant is the perfect fit for helping humanity transfer from a fossil-fueled world of exploitation and misery to one of clean energy, fair pay, and health and happiness. Because it is capable of providing all the essentials for an independent infrastructure, it is ideal in helping the whole world move away from capitalism and exploitation/pollution-based business. The hemp plant has over 10,000 industrial uses. It can be helpful in helping cure many forms, if not all forms, of cancer and sickness all over the human body. It is antibacterial, antifungal, and antimicrobial, and it is a hardy plant that is ready for harvest in just 4 months. The benefits of hemp go on and on. I encourage people to look into it and share what you find. This would also provide more good work for Americans here in other countries or people who want to make a good change with hemp. It would also take away money/energy and power from big exploitative corporations. The proof is in the pudding. Everything going on today comes from how we chose to act in the past. Free market capitalism and profiteering leaves a door open for evil entities/corporations, and that's exactly what we are experiencing all over the world right now. They are only so powerful now because we have fed them so. In my opinion, we need to stop feeding them and feed something new. Let's feed the Word of God and His miracle plant hemp and all the other wonderful plants/foods and messengers. How many shipping containers travel every day? So I've seen reports from 5,000 a day to 50,000 a day, and just today I saw reports of 90,000 a day. The breakdown I just shared with you guys was just for one of these ships. So that was stuff I wrote. This is more information. There's a lot of information on the shipping industry, but here's a little bit that I found. So how much damage to wildlife, the earth, the ocean? Okay, over 90% of the world trade is carried across the world's oceans by some 90,000 marine vessels. Like all modes of transportation that use fossil fuels, ships produce carbon dioxide emissions that significantly contribute to global climate change and acidification. Besides carbon dioxide, ships also release a handful of other pollutants that contribute to the problem. So, I think I'm going to make another video to go into some of the other problems and other aspects of the situation. But yeah, I just want to share that with you guys so far. And all right, I hope you all have a good day. All right.